In the heart of the North American Great Basin Desert in Nevada lies a cave that kept its secret for millennia. This is Spirit Cave, a site that would one day challenge and ultimately reshape our understanding of when humans first set foot on this continent. The story begins in 1940 when a husband and wife archaeological team, Sidney and Georgia Wheeler, working under the Nevada State Parks Commission, were surveying sites in the area. Their primary goal was to protect archaeological locations from damage caused by guano mining. While exploring Spirit Cave, they uncovered something extraordinary. Wrapped in meticulously crafted mats made of tule reeds, they found human remains. Among them was a partially mummified individual with the head and right shoulder remarkably preserved by the cave's dry environment. This was no ordinary burial. The individual, later identified as an adult male in his 40s, was not only wrapped in tule matting, but also adorned with finely made knit-lined moccasins and covered with a blanket woven from rabbit skins. Additional woven textiles were also present. The level of craftsmanship suggested a sophisticated culture, one with technological and artistic skills that would not appear again in the regional archaeological record for thousands of years. The Wheelers, assisted by local residents, carefully recovered a total of 67 artifacts from the cave and transported them to the Nevada State Museum in Carson City. At the time, radiocarbon dating did not yet exist. Based on the artifacts and the perceived cultural complexity they represented, researchers in 1940 estimated the remains to be between 1,500 and 2,000 years old. It was considered a significant discovery, but one that fit comfortably within the prevailing understanding of North American prehistory. The remains were placed in storage, a report was filed, and for nearly 50 years, the Spirit Cave Man, as he came to be known, lay largely forgotten in the museum's collections. To truly understand his world, we must travel back nearly 10,000 years. During his lifetime, the landscape of the Great Basin was dramatically different. Much of present-day Nevada was covered by the vast ancient Lake Lahontan, a pluvial lake formed during the last ice age. The people of this region were not desert wanderers, but communities who thrived along the shores of this immense freshwater system. The lake and its surrounding wetlands provided abundant resources, fish, waterfowl, and diverse plant life, supporting stable and productive lifeways. These early inhabitants laid the foundations for cultures whose descendants would later farm and ranch the region.
Decades passed, and archaeology advanced. By the 1990s, researchers at the Nevada State Museum revisited older collections using new technologies, including accelerator mass spectrometry radiocarbon dating. They recognized an opportunity to apply these methods to long, undated finds. Among them was the partially mummified man from Spirit Cave. The results were astonishing. Instead of being 2,000 years old, the remains dated to approximately 9,400 years before present, which calibrated to more than 10,600 calendar years ago. This instantly transformed the Spirit Cave Man from a relatively recent burial into the oldest human remains ever discovered in North America. To put this in perspective, he lived more than 5,000 years before the construction of the Great Pyramids of Egypt and over 2,000 years before Ötzi the Iceman in Europe. His age surpassed that of all known mummies worldwide, including those from Egypt and South America, making him the oldest known human mummy ever discovered. This revelation carried global significance. It demanded a re-evaluation of long-held assumptions about human migration into the Americas. For decades, the dominant scientific model held that the first humans arrived in North America around 12,000 years ago, crossing a land bridge known as Beringia between Siberia and Alaska. These people were associated with the Clovis culture, identified by their distinctive fluted stone tools. The Spirit Cave Man challenged this framework. He lived alongside or possibly before the height of the Clovis culture. His existence reignited debate. Were there earlier migrations? Did people arrive via coastal routes? Could multiple populations have entered the continent at different times? The early history of the Americas suddenly appeared far more complex. But the story did not end with science. Spirit Cave lies on public land managed by the Bureau of Land Management, BLM, giving the federal government jurisdiction over the remains. As scientists pushed for further study, including DNA analysis, the Falan Paiute Shoshone tribe, whose ancestral lands include Spirit Cave, came forward to claim him as their ancestor. Their oral traditions spoke of a deep, continuous connection to the land, reaching back to time immemorial. To them, these were not specimens, but a relative whose resting place had been disturbed. Under the Native American Graves Protection and Repatriation Act, passed in 1990, museums and federal agencies are required to return human remains in cultural items to culturally affiliated tribes. The Falan Paiute Shoshone tribe formally requested repatriation and opposed further testing, believing it would desecrate their ancestor.
This disagreement led to a complex legal and ethical struggle that lasted nearly 20 years. Scientists argued that studying the remains could yield invaluable insights into early American populations and migration patterns. Some pointed to physical differences in early remains that they believed suggested a population distinct from modern Native Americans. In 2015, a breakthrough occurred. After years of dialogue and trust building, the tribe agreed to allow a single crucial test: full genome sequencing. A team led by evolutionary geneticists from the University of Copenhagen and the University of Cambridge undertook the analysis. The results were decisive. The Spirit Cave man was genetically Native American and showed a direct ancestral connection to the Falan Paiute Shoshone tribe. Science had confirmed what oral history had long maintained. In 2016, the Bureau of Land Management officially repatriated the remains to the tribe. 2 years later, in 2018, the Spirit Cave man was laid to rest in a private ceremony, returning him to the land after more than 10,000 years. The discovery of the Spirit Cave man did more than add another ancient mummy to the archaeological record. Like Ötzi in Europe, he represents a preserved human time capsule. But his impact was even more profound. He pushed back the origin story of an entire continent. For decades, indigenous presence in North America was framed as relatively recent. The Spirit Cave man shattered that narrative. His carefully prepared burial, dating back over 10,600 years, reveals a people who were not merely surviving, but thriving, innovating, honoring their dead, and maintaining cultural traditions in a landscape shaped by ancient lakes and fading Ice Age megafauna. His legacy is not just scientific, it is human. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this exploration, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss another journey into history's greatest mysteries. Share your thoughts in the comments below. Do you think even older human remains are still waiting to be discovered?